Good day and welcome to the My Business Online webinar. The topic we will be handling in today's webinar is suppliers. Just some formalities before we get started. Everyone is muted so that there are no interruptions during the webinar and so that I can be heard by everyone. Please feel free to address any questions in your question box on your screen, and we will actually answer these questions during the webinar, or otherwise revert back to you once the webinar is done. First and utmost, though, I would like to thank you for attending today's webinar. So as mentioned, we're going to have a look at suppliers today. So how to create your suppliers and also how to transact within your suppliers. So just to have a look, in My Business Online, you've got your customer side of it, you've also got your supplier side of it. So initially, to sell any items to your customer, you need to have a supplier. You need to have that person that you buy the certain items from. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into supplier, list of suppliers, and have a look at how to set up the certain supplier. So you'll have a listing of all your suppliers at the bottom of your screen, or alternatively, if you're just getting started, you can simply just say add supplier. This is the part where you'll start setting up all the information. You'll then also select a category. So if you want to actually put this into category, so especially for reporting purposes and so forth, you can actually go and set up these categories. Then you've also got your opening balance. So how much do you owe your suppliers today? So I had a look. As of today, I owe them 5,000 Rand. And then what was the date? So as indicated today, and then are they active or not active? So this is where you'll actually go and indicate if you tick it, it means it is active. If you deselect it, then you won't be able to post it on. What the system will do is it will actually give you a message to say that this person, the supplier, is inactive. Okay, then you've got a credit limit. So what has been agreed upon between you and your supplier? Will you not exceed 10,000 Rand? If so, you'll simply put in that amount. And what will happen is as you're processing on that certain supplier, so you're generating invoices, the system will notify you as soon as you exceed that limit. Then also, what is the tax reference for this relevant supplier as well? You can enter that. And then also auto-allocate payments to the oldest invoice. You'll see everything that's got the dotted lines below it will give you the explanation on exactly what that means. But what this means, just to sum it up, is when a payment is made to your supplier, do you want to allocate it to the oldest invoice, so just the outstanding balance, or are you paying for specific invoices to that supplier? So if I've got 3 outstanding invoices for my certain supplier, am I paying them for invoice number 2, the 500 Rand that's due there, or alternatively, am I just paying them 1,000 Rand and therefore it just needs to reduce on the oldest invoice, so the first invoice that I owe them? Okay, so it depends on the terms that you've agreed upon with your supplier as well. Okay, then you've got your contact details, so this is just the postal address. You've also then got the physical address that you can put in. There's numerous addresses that you can put in. So if a supplier's got a branch in Durban, Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Pretoria, you can actually go and set those up. And all you do is you simply click down on that and put in the address. Then you've got the contact name, email address, telephone number, mobile number, fax number, and web address. And you'll see all your highlighted in blue areas, which is nice because you can access this from your mobile devices as well, so your Android and iPhone. You can simply just click on this option and it will start calling, or alternatively, you can click on the address and the system will navigate you towards your clients. Then you've also got activity, which becomes available once you start processing within the customer. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into an existing customer. And all I'll do is I'll simply go supplier list of suppliers and select edit on that supplier. So you'll have an option to either edit or delete. Note if there is a balance to that specific supplier, you will not be able to delete that supplier. Okay, so all I'm going to do is select edit there. If you need to edit any of the information, you can simply do it by going in there and changing the information. What you'll do is you'll populate all that information, and you can also view the activity. So this is a breakdown of what was the adjustment, what was the opening balances, what invoice has been done, what returns have been done. And you can always go and view the details of this. You can select details, and from there it will give you a breakdown of that. You then also got additional contacts. So if there's different people you need to contact from the supplier area, so let's say we've got Peter on the account side, and then we've got Jane on the sales side, you can actually go and set up that and also put in their relevant details. So when you do find your relevant supplier, you know exactly that if it's an account-related one, you will then phone Peter, and if it's a sales-related one, you'll phone Jane. Then you've got your note facility as well. So if you need to give your supplier a call, alternatively, if you even want to put in their birthday to go and indicate that you need to give them a call, you can put that on as well. And what will happen is on the actual due date, if you go to your home screen under your to-do list, that will appear there. Then you've got your user-defined fields that you can actually set up as well. Okay, so all the user-defined field is where you can provide additional information on the system. So let's say I require more information on my suppliers. So let's say my text field 1 I'd like to make as location. I can then simply type in Johannesburg. Then under my company tab, I can go to my user-defined fields. Once you're logged in, you'll go company, user-defined fields, and then actually go and set up under your supplier as your location for text field 1, which I'll show you as soon as we log in now into the actual company. Then you've got your purchases graph, and then also purchases orders. And remember, all the graphs you can drop down on, so I can simply go and indicate what happened this specific month. I can go and click on a specific date to a point where I can actually view that invoice. So you have a comparison between last year and this year on your purchase side. Then you'll have any purchases or orders that you might have on the system, and also any unpaid invoices. So what the system will do is run through and have a look what invoices are unpaid. If there's nothing, otherwise alternatively you can select all, and from there either print the invoices or email those invoices. Okay, so you can also then, under your list, you've got your supplier categories that you can go and set up. And what we'll do is we'll have a look now at your transacting. So once you've set up your supplier, this is actually where you go and process those purchase orders and your invoices and returns and so forth. Okay, so you can go to transactions, supplier purchase order. You can then simply add the purchase order. You can then select who the relevant supplier is. Also put in an order number, and then you'll see the tax reference, also physical address will all populate. And you can simply just drop down and go and select if it's a different address that you might have set up. Then you've also got your due date, delivery date, and then also discount. So this is an overall discount versus the line discount that you'll see on the actual item line. Okay, then you'll also have an option to use inclusive or alternatively exclusive. And from there you'll go and indicate whether it's item or account. Go and put in your description. So what is it that you're ordering? So I'm going to select bicycle pumps. I'm going to order in 30 of those. That's the cost, and then my total cost. I can also drop down on the left hand side and put notes in there. So I can say 10 times pink, 10 times orange, and 10 times blue. Put in my description there. I can then also put in a message. So you'll see there's a little A option there where you can click and you can go and create. You can add message. Type in whichever message it might be that you want to type in there. You can simply save it. Once it's done, you select that and that message will appear. Alternatively, you click on that option, select the one that you want to appear, and then also set this as your default message. Okay, once that's done, you'll have an option to save it, otherwise save and new, save and print, or save and email. So if we select save and print, and remember your purchase orders are optional. So once you do an invoice, that is officially where it affects your VAT and your actual figures and so forth. But when it comes to a purchase order, This is an issue where you're saying you want these certain items, but you haven't officially confirmed it as yet. Okay, so there you'll have your description, 10, payment 10 orange, 10 blue, and that actual purchase order. Now what happens is you send this off to your supplier, you guys agree upon the cost and so forth. You'll then decide that you want to order these items, and you'll simply go Supplier Invoice. You'll have a listing of all your invoices, and you'll say Add Supplier Invoice. Select the relevant supplier, and then you'll have the option as follows. So you'll see that the purchase order and the invoice screen looks exactly the same. So you'll have an option where you can drop down. Let's have a look at it. Okay, so road and travel tires. So I can simply go to my Supplier Invoice, go Add Supplier Invoice, drop down and go select that relevant supplier. And then from there, I've got a from purchase order that I can link it to. So there's that purchase order that I've done. It will ask me whether I want to keep that purchase order as a purchase order, alternatively do I want to remove it. So I'm going to say yes, I would like to remove it. And then what will happen is the system will bring in all their transactions. You'll see my notes will also still be there. Okay, once it's done is I can either select a message as well and simply indicate do I want to process and print it or otherwise process and email it. So I can simply say process and email. Okay, and the following screen will appear. So it will bring through the email address that I loaded onto the system. I'll then have an option to CC or BCC someone. Also put in the subject message and then also a message for that specific supplier. So whether you want to say that these items need to be delivered by Friday or they need to be delivered by certain days, you can actually indicate it. And all you'll do is you'll simply say email reports. Okay, so once that's done, you can reprocess the supplier invoice. Alternatively, you can continue processing on the system. So once we've had a look at setting up your purchase invoice. Then you've got the purchase order. We've had a look at doing your supplier invoice. Now what we're going to do is look at your supplier returns. So what we'll do is we'll say add supplier return, because what's happened now is my supplier delivered all 30 of those items. But I've noted that 2 of the items were damaged, so they're faulty. I wasn't able to use them. I can simply then just drop down, go and select who the relevant supplier is. I can then also link it up to that specific invoice. Okay, so there I've got my certain invoice. And all that's required now is for me to make the adjustment. So I'm going to indicate the quantity as 2, because it's 2 items, and then go and indicate exactly what colors as well I'm returning. So let's say it's 2 times pink. And once it's done, I can also put in a message. Alternatively, just select post and print or otherwise post an email, or alternatively just process it. So by process, it means it's just simply saving in that specific supplier return. Okay, so note when you're doing a return, you are going to leave only those transactions that you are physically returning to the supplier. Okay, so if I say process, I'll then just appear on the previous screen. Okay, then you've also got supplier payments. So take a note, if you are planning to process your supplier payments on this screen, then let's put it this way. If you are importing your bank statement, so whether you automatically importing it, so you're doing it through your bank feed, or you are importing that file, so whether it be an OFX file or a CSV file that you're importing on your banking side, you will then not do your supplier payment. And this is purely for the fact that you will duplicate it. So if you're processing a payment on the banking side, so that means on banking transaction process, banks and credit cards, so otherwise you're going bank statement or automatic banking. Once you bring that in, and let's say you've made a payment of 500 Rand, you will then link that up to your supplier. If you come in here and you do another payment of that 500 Rand, is in fact going to duplicate it. So as indicated, if you are making use of the banking side, do not make use of the supplier payments at all. And that's purely for that duplication sake. But if you are only making use, you'll simply go supplier payments. You'll say add payments. You'll then go select who that specific person is that you are paying. You'll put in the payment amount, reference if applicable, and then also what bank account, and the effect, and then the date, and also how was the payment done. Once it's done, and you can also allocate it as well. So you can indicate that this payment is specifically for this invoice. So you'll see then that that invoice reduced by 3,000 Rand. You can simply then just say process. So notice if you had to go on the banking side, and just to show you exactly what I was referring to on the duplication, if I had to go here on my payment side, and let's call that test, link it up to my supplier, from my selection go and select my supplier, and then I'm going to put in that 3,000 Rand. I will then process it. So this is as if on your bank statement that amount has come through and you're allocating it. So now if I go to my transaction, I go to Supplier Payments, you'll see that there are two payments of 3,000 Rand, which is not correct. So there you've duplicated it. So that's what I'm saying, if you are making use of the banking side, you won't come and do this step. So all I'll do is I'll simply just go delete, and that payment will then be removed. So I'll only then have the one payment. Okay, so there's only the one. The next is allocating payments. So you'll remember initially when we were setting up the supplier, there was that option to allocate to oldest invoice. So if you don't want the system to allocate it for you and you want to allocate yourself, you will simply come and click on these options. From there, you'll see exactly all the supplier invoices on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, all the payments, or otherwise returns as well. And what will be required from your side is simply just to drag and drop it across. So this means taking it simply and dropping it. So you'll see in this case there are no outstanding invoices. So let's say we have a look at so I'll see the specific supplier only has a return. So all I'll do is I'll simply go and allocate that return to the certain transaction. So you'll see now that the amount is that certain amount, and then that's what's been allocated. So let's say in the case where once I've saved it, I've noted that when I imported my bank statement and I allocated it to the certain supplier, I incorrectly allocated it to the wrong supplier. I can simply then go into my customer transactions and then to allocate receipts. Go and select that specific supplier. Once I select that specific supplier, I can then just drop down and see, okay, what payments have been made. So note with this specific one, I can then add it, and then I'll simply just drag that transaction across and drop it into there. So now what I've done is I've unallocated that return on the screen. And once it's done is I can simply just save it and then go and reallocate that payment that I made. Okay, so next one we'll also look at is Supplier Adjustments. So this is where I'm either increasing or decreasing my supplier balance by not having to do an invoice. So let's say I was granted a settlement discount by one of my suppliers. So if I paid in time, my supplier agrees that gives me a certain amount off. I can then go and select that decrease. I can then also select, what account am I affecting. So from my list of accounts, I can go and select. So if I need to create an account, I simply say add account. go and indicate it. Okay, I'll indicate other income. I'll then indicate discounts received. From there I'll save it, and then I'll have that option. All I'll do is then just go and put in the amount. So I received a 500 Rand discount on that payment estimate, and from there I can process it. So what will happen is I will reduce my balance by that 500 Rand. Okay, alternatively I can also increase it. So let's say there was interest charged on my specific account by the supplier. I will then come in here and increase the balance by that interest that was charged, and simply by just going and selecting the transactions on the screen. Okay, so that is on the transaction side. So we've had a look at purchase orders, generating an invoice, and as you can see, everything in the system works concurrent to one another. So what happens is, as soon as I generate a purchase order, I can convert this into an invoice, and from an invoice I can convert it into a return. So you never have to recapture any of the information over. And also, if I'm busy processing on the screen and I want a quick view of it, I can simply just go quick view, supplier. From there I can go and select which supplier it is I want to view. And then I'll see exactly, okay, what do I owe them, what purchase orders are outstanding, also what invoices have been processed. I'll then also have a purchases history which I can click on. So I can see exactly, what happened this year, why was there so much purchases made. So from where I can click on that and see the actual invoices, or alternatively the detail. I can also click on the days outstanding to see exactly what was paid, what was returned, what was invoiced. And then also print out the supply statement or purchases. You'll then also have your unpaid invoices, where you can see which ones are unpaid, and you'll be able to select them all and print them for yourself to have a look through. Otherwise you can also email them. So if there's a discretion between what you and your supplier are saying, you can simply just select all of these and email that report. Okay, then you'll have all your transactions that have been processed, and then also any outstanding purchase orders if there are. Okay, in this case we know already that there was no purchase orders because the system says total PO outstanding is 0. Okay, and once you're done on the screen, you can simply just close it and continue on your current page. So it's not like you're going to another tab, you're simply opening up a page that populates above your current page. And then from there, you've also got your Supplier Dashboard. So instead of having to go and print out all those reports, you can simply just go to your Supplier Dashboard and analyze that information. So I can see who is my top supplier by outstanding balance. So who do I owe the most? I can simply go and click on there. From there, I've got a breakdown to see exactly, okay, what invoices make up that amount. I can also then see by my days outstanding who's at 120 days. I can see all my suppliers there. And plus, I can change my viewing at any time. So instead of me seeing the graph that you're viewing on this side, you can simply go and select a display grid as well with all those totals. And then same, you can see all your top suppliers by purchase as well. By simply clicking on it, you'll have that breakdown. Okay, so what's great about these graphs is you never have to go and analyze the information on a report. You're simply looking at a graph, and from there you can instantly make a quicker decision to see exactly, okay, I've only got X amount of money this month, who do I owe the most? Let me make sure I pay them first, and try and make alternative arrangements with my other suppliers. Okay, and then from there you've also got your reports. You've got your list of all your suppliers, also purchases by suppliers. And note with all your reporting, you can select monthly, quarterly, yearly, and also drop down and go and print out last year's data as well, or let's say 3 years back, if that's how many years you've processed on the system. So because you can access all your previous reports as well, when you're printing a report here, you don't have to go back to other information or other data. You simply just drop down and go and select 2 years ago data. Okay, and you can also indicate as a detailed summary, and from there you can view the reports. Okay, so I'll just wait for that report then to appear on the screen. Okay, so from there I'll have who's my supplier, what was the invoice, and all those invoices displaying exactly what they purchased, what was the quantity thereof, and so forth. And then you'll see on top, you'll always have this tab available. So you'll see that you can email this report, you can also print it, you can change the date as well. So if I only want to view it on a monthly or quarterly basis, then I can also see that it's page 1 of 35. I can also scroll to the next page and then also save it into one of the different formats. And you can drop down as well and indicate customized dates as well if you want to put in your own dates. Or simply just browse for that. Okay, so the next report that we'll also have a look at is supplier balances days outstanding. So you can see exactly who you owe and at how many days is it outstanding. So 120 days current and so forth. And note that you've got this as well on top there where you can email it, print it, and save it into one of those different formats. Okay, then you can also run a supplier statement. So you can send your supplier also statements to show them exactly what they've invoiced you, what you've paid them, also what have you returned, and so forth. Then you've got supplier transactions. You have a complete breakdown of who your supplier is, you've made a payment, an invoice, and so forth, and you'll have that breakdown there. And note that at all these reports, you can simply click download it. So if I want to see exactly what that payment entails, I can from there click on it. That will then bring up that actual payment that was made. And then also supplier invoices. Okay, so you've got transactions and then also just the invoice out of it. You've got that option to include it. And as I indicated, you can also click on it and from there view the invoice. Okay, and that's an invoice we processed on the system. Okay, then you've also got your special where you can adjust opening balances. So this means once you loaded that certain supplier, you might have said that you owe them 5,000 rand, but yet they came back to you and wrote and told you that you only owe them 3,000 rand, so there was a bit of an incorrection, it was incorrectly processed. You can then go and select that relevant supplier, and then from there go and change that opening balance from the 5,000 rand to the 3,000 rand. Or alternatively, you've entered no balance, yet you note that you do owe them 2,000 rand. From there you can simply save it. Okay, so once you save it, that specific supplier's balance will then increase by 200. Okay, so we've had a look on the supplier side is how to set up your supplier, how to set up categories, also how to transact. And then also viewing the numerous reports and then also changing any opening balances if required. And then also looking at your home screen, so analyzing those the graphs instead of going and printing out reports. Alternatively, you can go and print out those reports and then save it into a PDF or otherwise into Excel. You can also email it off, and then you've also got your quick view, so where you can quickly get information just above your current screen. Okay, so we have reached the end of the webinar. I do hope that a lot was taken from today's webinar. I hope to see you at the next webinar. Have a lovely day further.